Hi everybody, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So, I am going to do a ghost wipe. So, I love ghost wipes and it's hard for me to resist them for a little while, so I have to do another one. So, the colours I have chosen today are... So, I've got carbon black and silver. So, they're kind of my standard colours that I use with a lot of them. And then I am using doixizine purple. So this is a nice dark purple, which is a transparent. And I am using brilliant violet, which is an opaque. So I find that opaques give me lots of good cells. So if I use the opaques with the transparent, I get lots of nice cells as well as nice colours. So I wanted a purple one. So that was why I picked these colours. So that's them. I'm going to put them aside. So they're all holcroft. You could use similar paints in other brands. And they are mixed. 3 grams paint, 9 grams Australian floetrol. So altogether, I've only got like 12 grams paint in here. And that is plenty. I probably won't even use all of it. I usually use a little bit more silver than the others, but I still only made up the same amount of paint. So these are what I have made up ready. I'm just going to put them over this side. So they should look absolutely beautiful together, these colours. I have my paint swipe cards. I'm going to do the thin one again. So this is one square one cut into thirds. That is normally cut into half. But I want to do another thin one. So they're my paint cards. And this is eraldo de paulo white. And this is the base coat. So this is 1 part paint, 4 parts floetrol. So it is 35 grams paint and 140 grams floetrol. This is an MDF board that I'm using as a canvas. It is 30 centimeters by 60 centimeters and it is 18 millimeters thick. It's a slightly thicker one this time than I normally do. And all as I have done, let me lift it up. I've just given it a coat of gesso on the sides, a little bit on the back. I don't worry about the middle for the moment. And this is the front. So get that nicely into position. I hope I'm still in camera frame. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour my base coat over it. I spread it around with either a palette knife or a spatula, whichever, to coat the top and the sides. Then I tilt it. So then it is even as can be. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but try to make it as even as possible. Oops. Okay, so that is it for the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the base coat off camera, so I don't bore you with doing a base coat, because we all know how to pour paint on and tilt it till it covers. So pausing. Okay, so it has now been tipped, painted, tilted, and it's relatively even. So now we've got to work out the order of the paint. So I always like to do the silver last. Actually, I'm just going to double check that I'm still in frame, because I did move my canvas while tilting. Yeah, I'm still in frame. Okay, so I always do the silver last. So I think I'm going to go... I might go black first. Before you pour it, give it a little stir, just to make sure it's nice and even, hasn't settled at all. Now when you start, pour off the canvas first, then go across, and then all the way to your off the canvas again before you stop. Try and stick to roughly the middle, which should be about here. And I always do wavy lines. Doesn't have to be perfectly wavy, just I find it works better because you get some colour going either side. Now I'm going to go the opaque, so the light purple. Start off the canvas, go on. Doesn't really matter how you do your wave. Try to keep the paint evenish in thickness all the way along. As you can see, it's a little bit thicker there and thins out there, but I'll try and make up with it with another colour. Now the doixizine purple, so off, come on the canvas, keep doing waves. I try and make my waves of my purples crisscross, like opposites. Doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. That's the best thing about this. It's art. And it's fun art. Fun art means if you try and be perfect all the time, you'll never always be happy with what you create. So just go for it and have fun. So definitely darker at this end. So I've got to try and put a little bit more. So this one here, we're just going to go off. And then I always go across all colours with the silver. Now, because I think I was a little bit light, I'm just going to drop a couple of extra drops if it wants to in the middle area. You don't have to. I just want to make sure that the paint is relatively the same thickness. So this is me being just a little bit pedantic, so you don't have to do this. I just thought, because it's thicker there, I wouldn't mind just a little bit more here, and I don't try to re-pour it because you'll end up, it's harder when you start pouring first out, you get quite a bit. So that's why I always start off the canvas and move onto the canvas. Just putting a few extra dots here and there is usually good enough. Okay, now they're done. They're aside, out of the way. I'm going to move these here. Now, before you start, have a couple of paper towels ready. Get that out of the way. Fold it up. I always just fold it and have it there ready. Get your little paint cards. So there's my paint card stash. Put them there. Always have more cards ready than what you think you're going to need. Now, when you do this, you only want to go halfway. Take half the paint this way and half the paint that way. So I always do one side and then move over to the other side. And when you do the edge, put your card half on and half off, so you get all the way on the edge. So you just put it there. You don't need to push down very much, just a tiny little bit, and then slide and then lift. So what I do is, sometimes when I lift the card sideways or just up. Kind of gives you different points and different angles. So the next one, you just start next to that, go down, and lift. You want some shorter, some longer, so the next one I'm going to do a lot longer. Pull it down, and see how I lifted one side? Kind of gave that little point. And then you just move along to the next bit, and I'm lifting it the other way. If you push too hard, especially on an MDF board, you will go down to wood, and that's not good. And then lift. Now, another thing, if you don't have paint cards, you can use plain cards, you can use bits of plastic, you can kind of use whatever you like, and try to keep your lines straight. See how my card's curving now? It's getting a little bit soggy. Don't use that card anymore. I'm going to use the other side, but hold where it's still firm, because if you hold where it's soggy, you've got no grip on it. Hold it where it's firm, where it's got a little bit of spring back. And it's just a matter of getting to the middle, dragging. Ooh, okay. I skipped. I'm getting rid of that card. Didn't have enough grip on it, so it kind of skipped. So I'm going to overlap so I can get rid of those two skippy parts. So sometimes actually an MDF board is a little bit harder than a canvas. A canvas has got a little bit of give to it. The board doesn't. So you do have to be a little bit more careful with the board than you do with the canvas. And it's just a matter of pulling it down, lifting at different intervals, different angles to give you the different ghost look. Some of these are maybe a bit more solider than I would have preferred. So it feels like I'm dragging a lot of paint off because both my card and my paper towel are both getting quite soggy quite early on. So put all my used ones there. Get my next paper towel ready. Getting another new card. Don't stress about how many cards you use. It's the canvas, you want to make sure you do it properly. So drag and lift. Drag and lift. Drag and lift. Drag and lift. As you can see, the cells are developing. It takes a little bit of time for them to start showing up. So when you first do a swipe, don't stress if you don't have many cells, or they will develop. Drag and lift. I'm getting paint all over the place. Drag and lift. So if I was to use a wider card, there would be less drags and more spaced out. I felt like doing another one with thin ones. So you can use whatever size you prefer. Drag and lift. I feel like I do have a lot of paint on here. Maybe there was a bit more white left on the canvas than I normally have. Get one more swipe out of this card. and then I'm going for a new one. I'm not going to turn it around. It wasn't giving me the same grip. It was being a bit too wobbly. Now when you come to the end, same as the other side, half on, half off, and drag down. Okay, so that's that one, that side done. Sometimes it doesn't look as good until you've done both sides. Loving the colours. So now the best way to turn it around is to get a paper towel ready. And I just lift from here, give a spin, and as you can see I've just got sitting on some dry upside down cups, and then place it down there. Fingers will be dirty, and don't do what I just did and lift your fingers up over the canvas. Always go around the edges, because the last thing you need is a drip going on your artwork. Now, what we do here is we go off the canvas again, half off, half on. Try and get where, roughly the middle where you were before. So you get that, drag it down and lift. The end pieces are kind of going to be some of your harder pieces to do. Down and lift. Okay, this paper towel's getting too soggy, so I'm getting rid of it. I know I've said this in my other videos, but I'm going to keep repeating it because it's something that you need to know. Do not try to save or go sparingly on your cards or your paper towels. Your paper towels cost about $0.01 each. I get the cards for free from the paint shop. Even if you buy a pack of cards, they're not very expensive. You're painting your canvas are usually your most expensive parts. If you skimp on not using paper towels or using one that's too dirty, you'll end up making a mark on your canvas and you've ruined the whole painting, and then you've got to waste so much to redo it. Don't ever worry about one. I like saving the planet, but I'm going to waste more money in paint and canvases and product than I am just getting another paper towel. So, where we were before, down, drag, lift. Down, drag, lift. And it is just a matter of keep repeating the same thing. That card's going funny, so I'm getting a new one. Drag down, and I'm lifting and going all the way to the edge on that one. Wanted a really nice peak. Down, drag, lift. So you just got to try to keep where you touch in the middle the whole way across, so you don't kind of sway too much. The paint usually does fall back into place, but it looks more even if you try to keep it even. And remember to do some short ones and some long ones. Having some short and some long gives more interest in it, draws your eye to different areas of your artwork. that card's getting bendy. There's more paint on this than I normally have because my cards are getting soggy a lot quicker. And I'm using more paper towels. But this is a nice, bold, rich purple. It's going to stand out from quite a distance. Some colours you can do a little bit more mellow. This one I wanted to be nice, bold, purple. So drag, down, lift. I'm going to do, the next time I do one of these, I'm actually going to use the larger swipe cards and show you the difference. If you've been with me for a while, you would have noticed, you would have seen me do ones with wider swipe cards. But this one, I wanted to do a purple one with thin ones. So, but I do want to mix it up and do some of the other style as well, which is similar, but it looks a little bit different having a lot less peaks. So drag, lift. Drag, lift. Drag, and go down further. I usually always try to do the second last one not too long because the last one I always try to go quite far down. There we go. So now, you don't have to do this, but if you look at it from the side, you've just got 4 drips going down from where you poured the paint. So I swipe it. Just doesn't have to be perfect, it just blends it a little bit. There we go. If you just give it a little bit of a swipe like you have with the top, it just kind of makes it look a little bit more natural. Even if you decide you're going to paint the sides a solid colour anyway, which you can do, just if you just give it a swipe, it just kind of makes it seem a bit more natural, and then you can paint over it later. So this is it. This is done. So there's not really anything else to it now apart from just letting it settle in. Now, if you feel you've made a mistake, you can go over it, like make this even thinner to like a small one or something, but I prefer not to. I feel I'm going to make more mistakes by doing that than I am by just letting it go. So I am going to try a couple of different new things with this style. Similar style, but just mix it up a little bit in the future. I just got to, I probably have to do a little practice run on a small canvas. So where are we? These are what I use as my little practice runs to make sure that the colours work and everything looks good. These canvases are really cheap, so they still turn out good. They're still decent quality, but they're... Oops, I put a purple mark on there with my purple thumb. Oh. I just do these as a little practice run, just so I know the colours are working well. But yeah, so I'm going to try some test runs on a small canvas with my new style that I want to try. And if it works, I'll be doing it on something like this. But yeah, like I said earlier, canvases are a little bit more easier than the MDF board. You've got to be a little bit more careful with your MDF board, that you don't push too hard, and I don't think there's not as much give for mistakes on the MDF board. But ta-da! This is it. I love the colours. Kind of doesn't... You can see the doixizine purple where it's dark. You don't notice it as much when it goes to the points, only because it looks similar to the... what was the other one called? Brilliant Violet. But the doixizine purple and the Brilliant Violet are a little bit similar once it thins out to these little strips. So You could always use a different colour. I've done a purple and magenta before. You could use you could use gold. I like the silver. Suits my house better. I'm not really a gold fan. But yeah, you could use pearl white. You could use metallic black. You can use anything that you like. Just try to keep at least one opaque colour in there, because I find you get better cell action on the opaque colour than you do on the transparents. That's just an observation. I don't know if it's 100%. It just seems to be that way. But this is it. My finished artwork. I hope it looks good for you guys. But I am going to bring the camera down and show you some close-ups. Okay, so there we go. This is what I see from my angle. Also remember, the darker colours show mistakes more. So if you aren't as happy with something, or if you're still new to it, try lighter colours because they're a little bit more forgiving. If you make a mistake with some of these dark colours, it's so noticeable. But how does that look for you guys? I think it looks pretty cool. So let's come down and have a look at some of these lacing that we've got. There we go, see? Beautiful lacing, little different points in different areas. The silver is there, there's the silver. All this, oh, where are we? All this here is silver. You can't see it properly until it's dry. Once it's dry, it shimmers much better. But you get this nice little block of colour running through the middle, and then it wisps off to these little points and off to the edge of the canvas. If you wanted to, you could go all the way to the edge. You could go all the way across. I like doing it this, sorry, pardon me, this ghosty way. That's just one way I like it. But all the way along, nice lacing, both sides. That's it from this way where you can see close. If you have any questions, you could always ask me. But yeah, if you follow the video, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of whether your products are going to do the same thing. Australian floetrol gives you better lacing. You may, if you used American floetrol and you added that like bloom technique recipe, I think it's polyacrylic and something else, you may get similar results. I don't know. I haven't used it, and it's too expensive for me to buy and bring over to Australia to try it out. So I just use what I have available. But yeah, that is it. I hope you have had fun watching this. I always have fun making these videos. So have a good night. Comment, like, share my videos. That would really help if you shared them. That gives other people a chance to see them. And subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully I can get close to 500. I think I'm close-ish, but I'd love to get over 500. That way, well, I'm super happy whenever I get one. So I come home and I look at the computer and go, yay! So it's exciting to me. But thank you, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow for another pour. All right, catch you later. Bye.